Good evening and welcome to you from our chapel here. This is our last Wednesday evening prayer of the year. Welcome to each one of you who will participate in this prayer in their own time and in their own space. It is Christmas time and we are going to hear about the prologue of John. John's birth story is a cosmic story. It starts with Genesis, with the beginning, and tells us the story of divine evolution, so to speak. A story of struggle, of the world not being received at times, of darkness, yet the light still shines bright. It could be a metaphor or a picture of what is happening right now on our wonderful planet, our home. On the one hand, countries and societies are divided. There is inner fighting, factions, violence, a global pandemic, people dying due to COVID. There is famine, violence, war, lack of care and justice, darkness of all sorts, and the temptation to stick with our own king. Yet, like in the prologue of John, the light is not going to be compounded. People are coming together. People are showing compassion, love, concern for others, and for the whole planet, as well as having hope and agency for the common good. John's prologue starts like the Bible, like the beginning of Genesis. In the beginning, the Word was with God, very near to God. He was God, and the earth came into being through him. John uses the word the Logos. In the beginning, the Logos was with God. He was God, and the earth came into being through him. In Genesis, God's Logos is God's agency, God's dynamic intelligence and purpose, bringing the world into being, and with it bringing humankind to life. The most important in the Logos is that he is the light, a light so powerful that it is not overcome by darkness. That is a marvelous gift from God to us. It is very encouraging, consoling, and hope-giving. The Logos was a term used by Greeks and Jewish philosophers. It seems that through the word of the Logos, John understood something about God. It is his trademark, and it seems that Christians ever since have understood something of God through this word, and they have identified the Logos as the Christ ever since. After telling us the story of the Logos from Genesis onwards, and the Logos being the light of the nations, John tells us about what could be called a second Genesis. This second Genesis is the story about the Logos becoming flesh. God releasing the Logos in the world, his only Son into the world. The Logos was made flesh and, depending on translation, lived, took residence, dwelt, had his dwelling, pitched his tent among us. Sometimes it's good to hear a different translation to get a wider feel and understanding of what is happening. Words like taking residence, had his dwelling, pitched his tent, give us a feel of the density of the presence of the Logos on earth, in the world, the same family than ours, moving from the unbounded dimension of eternity to the bounded atmosphere of earth, being in the material realm. The Logos is the dynamic agency and intelligence of God that came to earth in the flesh. John reminds us that the Logos is eternally being born. His story is set in the cosmos, where the Logos has no beginning and no end. And the mission of the Logos is twofold. The only child is to make his Father known. The Logos is well placed to do that, as he is the only one who has seen the Father, and he rests on his bosom, on his heart. And the second mission of the Logos is to make more children for him. Jesus, the Christ, the Logos, invites us to receive him, as to receive the power to become children of God, to become his brothers and sisters, his siblings, to enlarge God's family, and to become more Logos-like, to become God's Logos made flesh.
Word that formed creation, earth and sea and sky. Word that brings salvation, word that will not die. Speak in us now, that we might hear your call. Living word of Jesus, wound within us all. Love that formed and named us, fill this clay with breath. Love that seeks and claims us, love beyond all death. Come now and fire, with life that flows from you. Love and grace of Jesus, raise us up anew. Song of joy and wonder, sung so wild and free. Voice of wind and thunder, boundless as the sea. Music of God, the love that casts out fear. Song that sang Jesus, sing within us here. God of all creation, form our heart anew. God of our salvation, lead us home to you. Spirit inspire, our hearts to hear your call. Living God of Jesus, come renew us all.
From the Gospel according to John. In the beginning, the Word already existed. The Word was with God, and the Word was God. He existed in the beginning with God. God created everything through him, and nothing was created except through him. The Word gave life to everything that was created, and his life brought light to everyone. The light shines in the darkness, and the darkness can never extinguish it. God sent a man, John the Baptist, to tell about the light, so that everyone might believe because of his testimony. John himself was not the light. He was simply a witness to tell about the light. The one who is the true light, who gives light to everyone, was coming into the world. He came into the very world he created, but the world didn't recognize him. He came to his own people, and even they rejected him. But to all who believed him and accepted him, he gave the right to become children of God. They are reborn, not with a physical birth resulting from human passion or plan, but a birth that comes from God. So the Word became human and made his home among us. He was full of unfailing love and faithfulness. And we have seen his glory, the glory of the Father's one and only Son. John testified about him when he shouted to the crowds, "This is the one I was talking about when I said, 'Someone is coming after me who is far greater than I am, for he existed long before me.'" From his abundance we have all received one gracious blessing after another. For the law was given through Moses, but God's unfailing love and faithfulness came through Jesus Christ. No one has ever seen God, but the unique one, who is himself God, is near to the Father's heart. He has revealed God to us. The Gospel of the Lord.
Praise to you, Lord Jesus Christ.
So now, during our time of reflection and contemplation, let us mull over what has touched us, or what has challenged us, or moved us in what we have heard.